If everyone was the same, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have as many problems. Like, that's obvious.
All right. This is Kyle, Lex's little brother. It's her only sibling alive, I guess.
We'll get to that later.
It's a whole different story. But this is his first time seeing Tom MacDonald. Politically incorrect. Let's get into it.
Sweetness.
My generation's afraid of opinions. Y'all so intolerant. They're ashamed of themselves because they're privileged and whiter. They're black and the opposite. You get charged with harassment for hugging a woman or giving a compliment. Y'all way too sensitive yet, offended to death. Bring all the coffins in. I swear to...
I'm gonna say he's not like the most politically correct rapper in the world. Like, he's probably not like on the pro. Like, I don't know for sure, but something tells me he's probably not on the pro politically correct side.
Probably not.
You see what
you picked the title of the song, right?
Tom. Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Y'all way too sensitive yet, offended to death. Bring all the coffins in.
As a message.
I swear that y'all are mad at everything that don't affect your life. Hey, I swear that y'all believe that being offended just means that you're right. Hey, I swear that y'all just want to be the only ones who everyone lies. Hey, I swear if I swear at you ninnies, you probably so triggered you cry. And nobody wants to be real. Everyone's scared of how everyone feels. We become so ultra sensitive and hyper tolerant that honestly, honesty gonna be illegal. It's crazy y'all get so
How do you feel about that? We become so ultra sensitive and hyper tolerant that honestly, honesty is gonna become illegal.
Honestly, honesty illegal?
Because we're so ultra sensitive and hyper tolerant, and we try to tolerate everything and trying to skate across everyone's sensitivities, not offend anyone, that you can't even be honest modern day. That's what he was saying.
I don't know if it will so much be illegal. In my mind, like, illegal seems like such a direct and just like straightforward path in a sense. Like, I'm thinking it's going to see like it's going to not so much like language. What I think the main idea is that language evolves over time. Like, it evolves, and I think that's what's going to like ultimately happen. It's not so much like, you know, language evolves, and, you know, people do too for that matter. So it's like, it's not impossible to think that in the future we're not just going to like want to be assholes.
So you're saying it could ebb and flow.
What do you mean?
Like, it might get, like right now we're getting more sensitive and tolerant, but you're saying in the future it could
just be normal. That sensitive intolerance could just be normal.
Oh, I thought you were saying in the future we could be a-holes.
No. What I'm saying in the future is we won't be, because we've grown. Like, you know, language evolves over time. So, you know, those words that could be seen as politically incorrect will eventually just go away. They're just not going to be a thing. Okay. It would just be our norm, because so many generations of, you know, of this attitude has gone on and passed. That just becomes the norm.
ultra sensitive and hyper tolerant that honestly, honesty gonna be illegal. It's crazy y'all get so shocked and bothered from people saying things that aren't responsible. If that seems logical, y'all are weak then. If someone says retard, it ruins your weekend, and that's retarded. My hair been in braids cause it looks hella awesome. Y'all like to scream I appropriate culture, but I don't hear nothing. I'm paying homage. Y'all are just trying to get likes on your comments.
But
okay. Well, you have something to say?
Yeah, but I do kind of see what he's saying. Like, there are bigger things in the world to worry about. Like, you know, it's not like people, you know, like people really do get excited over certain words. And it's like, look, I understand, you know, the excitement. It's not right. You know, people should learn to do better. But at the same time, there's also homeless people and children starving all over the world. Like, we may have some bigger problems to, you know, we like put energy into it, just maybe not as much as we do, but at the same time, if you don't put energy into it, it's like how much really gets done. I mean, I think that's the biggest question. But I do see what he means. It's like, it is a lot. It sometimes is a lot.
Right. It's a little excessive.
Right. It's excessive to the point where it's almost like you're making oddities out of people.
And like, do you even have freedom of speech anymore?
Right.
Because part of freedom of speech is to say things people don't like.
Well, not just freedom of speech. I'm just thinking, like, you know, it almost gets to the point where, like, you know, people with, like, disabilities will almost feel like they're oddities because it's like you're making such a big deal out of it. Like, okay, I appreciate the attention, but don't go overboard.
Because they're treating you like it's so special.
Right.
Things that aren't responsible. If that seems logical, y'all are weak then. If someone says retard, it ruins your weekend. And that's retarded. My hair been in braids because it looks hella awesome. Y'all like to scream I appropriate culture, but I don't hear nothing. I'm paying homage. Y'all are just trying to get likes on your comments, googling quotes that are socially conscious, and saying you're woke doesn't make you a prophet. It makes you a liar and stupid obnoxious. Always on that blah blah. Y'all should keep it to yourselves. Miss me with that drama. You must think I'm someone else.
It's got a good bridge.
Cause y'all don't wanna.
Like, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest bridge I've ever heard, but it ain't bad.
So you like it so far?
Right. Like I said, like, I'm not gonna say he's my favorite rapper or like the greatest rapper I've ever heard, but you know, he's got something. Like, I can see where his audience will come from.
Someone else. Cause y'all don't wanna with me. Cause I don't feel the pressure. No, I will not be censored. I'm not afraid, that's why they with me. My name will be remembered, and I will live forever. I bet y'all hate that y'all are stuck with me. Happy Halloween, for one evening only you wear what you want. Unless it's a poncho, a headdress, or afro, you'll piss someone off. Hey. I'd say Merry Christmas, but I know that it's about to be gone. If religious freedom's such a dire issue, why you dress like a priest in October for fun? Don't let them censor your thoughts. Don't let them make you regret that you talked. Don't let them tell you that nice is the law, trying to make you all righter when nothing is wrong.
No, like, I get that. I'm just really just into the song, just listening. Like, okay, I feel where you're coming from. Like, I don't know. It just has a really good verse.
So you like it?
Well, I like the beat and I like the verse. Like, I'm not really super following the lyrics. Like, I'm following them. I'm not like super following, like, you know, catching every one of them, everything. But so far, I'm digging it.
Make you regret that you talked. Don't let them tell you that nice is the law, trying to make you all righter when nothing is wrong. Yeah, words hurt you, clothes hurt you, memes hurt you, jokes hurt you, we hurt you. Half the time you don't even probably know what hurt you, but you.
This reminds me of this joke I heard online. And, you know, they were very true in the joke, saying, like, the ultimate punchline was saying, like, you know, there's no such thing as just a joke anymore. Like, we live in a post-joke world. So many celebrities have lost, like, huge gigs, like being the Oscar host. Everything from being the Grammys to the Oscar host to awards, and literally all they did was just look back at their old tweets. It's, like, it's insane.
Right. So you're not for the cancel culture?
It depends. It really depends. I'm kind of in the balance of the middle. Sometimes I hear about something getting canceled and I feel like, you know, okay, I get it. I don't really care that much. Like, you know, and that's what I don't care, but like, okay, I get it, but you know, there's kind of bigger stuff out there to, you know, to put effort into. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, this needs to go, because you gotta think, the media is always going to influence it's always been such a huge influence of the people. And like, you know, in like our opinions growing up. And so it's like, you got to think, you know, especially like the next generation, what kind of people do you want to raise this generation to be?
The principles, where are the principles? Like, how can you be for cancel culture sometimes but not all the time?
It's like, how is it not black and white?
Do you think it's okay on the principle of like
free speech?
Now I'm talking about what you were talking about, like, because of someone's tweet history they lose their job.
Oh yeah. See, now, and like that's the other big thing. Honestly, life takes you in so many different ways. I'm not really sure on what to say on that, because sometimes you just lose a gig. It's not the end of the world. You know, Kevin Hart, I think, lost his Oscar gig because of some old tweets that were like homophobic. But you know, he's still doing okay, but he just lost a gig. But I see what you mean about like someone who works in an office somewhere and, you know, they can, you know, they have a home, a mortgage, a family to feed, and it's like some old tweet, and you know, because they work in a media corporation and then they're just gone. And it's like, that's a tricky question. I mean, it's very much a balancing act of like, when is it something to really, you know, what do you want to influence to the next generation? Like, what message do you want to send out to the world? Like, it's kind of like that almost. Like, when is it big?
So you're saying sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not.
Pretty much. Like, it's not even like, it's all like, not even just so much it's not okay, just there's bigger stuff to worry about. It's not that much to put effort into right now.
But then sometimes if the tweets are bad enough, then you should fire them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with cancel culture, but I do understand what y'all mean about, like, sometimes it does go too far.
Oh, I disagree with it all the way. You disagree with it sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes you just, I'm saying
yeah, there's been times when it's like, yeah, this. Why are y'all putting effort into this?
I'm saying I don't think sometimes it goes too far. I think cancel culture is completely ridiculous in and of itself. That's my opinion on it.
Right. I mean, I can see that. I mean, no, I can see that. I mean, everyone knows several celebrities, YouTubers, like so many different people. Like anytime you put yourself in front of a screen, it's so easy to get canceled.
Right.
That's insane. And it's
you might get canceled for something you said on this video. We'll see. Lose your job.
I know, and that is kind of scary sometimes.
Hurt you, memes hurt you, jokes hurt you, we hurt you. Half the time you don't even probably know what hurt you, but you're super mad. Trust we hurt you.
But then that's also, you can see how that's also like the latest attitudes of like you're saying like my generation with Gen Z, and it's like I remember telling y'all the other day, it's like we went hard on anti-bullying. Like we went like this generation, they went hard on anti-bullying and saying, you know, you respect other people who are different. You do not make fun of them in any way. And I think that's a big thing that's fueled cancel culture.
We hurt you. Half the time you don't even probably know what hurt you, but you're super mad. Trust we hurt you. You a pawn in a broken system. Are you triggered much? You been showing symptoms. Y'all are so addicted to being hopeless victims. Y'all can crash a plane and blame the road conditions. And your only sickness is your social vision. Makes you scared of choices, but you pro decision. So you march a lot, but never go the distance. Yelling way too loud until no one listens. Always on that blah, blah. Y'all should keep it to yourselves. Miss me with that drama. You must think I'm someone else.
That's why cancel culture is a thing now. Like, you know, to keep it to yourselves. It's like what you're always saying about like like the millennials and before. It's like when it came to bullying, it was just suck it up. It was just suck it up or be the bully. And
See,
it's like,
I feel like cancel culture is misleading. Because I just feel like people think, oh, by firing this person or humiliating that person, like they're literally stopping bullying. But it's like a bully isn't born a bully. They become a bully out of their own life circumstances.
true.
So it's like really treating the symptom and not the problem. Like canceling people is treating a symptom. It's not getting to, like, how did they even get to where they are? You know what I mean? And it's like, wouldn't you rather know if someone is overtly racist? Wouldn't you rather know that than like them be suppressed and hold it in and stuff, and then just like, you know what I mean? It's like that's going to come out in another way, and it's probably going to be in a more harmful way.
And canceling someone is the biggest act of bullying you could possibly do.
Yeah, it is.
Cancel culture is the biggest bully that ever existed.
Ironic.
I mean, I see where y'all are coming from, and you're not like, I see where y'all are coming from, and you know, sometimes y'all have, like I said, not everything needs to be canceled, but then there are some where it's like, you kind of need to do something about this person. Like, I'm thinking about the Roseanne incident, and it's like, I don't care.
What was that incident again? I forget.
So she was
something racist, right?
Basically, after
do you remember
her show
what
rebooted, I don't know. It was some open mic.
I don't remember what it was.
I didn't watch. Look, I heard about it, but it was some open mic that she was at. It was some open mic that she was at. And I think she did like Hitler jokes or something, and I don't know. It was either blackface or Hitler jokes, but either way, it was not funny. And it's like, I think. Here's the thing. I think
post-joke world.
Yeah, a post-joke world. But here's the thing. I think cancel culture, y'all have a point about like how hard it hits, but I think cancel culture is kind of like, it's almost like prison in a way. Like, it just needs to evolve. Because the whole point of prisons is to bring people back to society. So then maybe cancel culture is to bring people back to society. Like, teach them the world is changing. You got to change too, or this is what's going to happen to you. Like, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. And people do change. That's the greatest thing about humanity is our ability to change.
So, let's say somebody who agrees with cancel culture and somebody who doesn't agree with cancel culture. The person who doesn't agree has kids in their own home. Why should the person who agrees with it be able to cancel the celebrity when the other person has the kids that are being influenced and they don't? It's their kids. It's their family. It's their life. They don't want their kids.
Because then you also have the parents in the home with the kids who do care. And
no, the parents don't care.
No, I'm saying is you also have, along next door to those parents, you also have those.
Why don't they just not play Roseanne on their TV then?
Because it's a world. Like I said, we don't have to understand why people are different. Like, we don't understand people's differences. We just have to respect them. Like, the idea is trying to make everybody happy. Everybody needs to compromise. You know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And there's just more many who disagree. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's going to fuel it is the amount of people you get behind it. That's what fuels everything.
I'm just saying, why not?
That's a pretty far
Why
leap.
not people take responsibility for their own house? What media they allow in their house?
Because
you know what I mean? Why do we need to
because in the age of the
collectively
internet and cell phones,
cancel someone so that the people who like her, what if they think that's funny? What if they don't live in a post-joke world? What if they can take a joke? You know what I mean? Why should their kids suffer the consequence of?
You are very much someone who did not grow up in my generation, who did not grow up in the anti-bullying generation, or like suck it up. Like, I think the biggest thing though is how easily like people's feelings get hurt. And look, sometimes when your feelings get hurt, it molds you. Other times it breaks you down a lot, and you don't always have control over what your child is able to see. Like because of the power of like phones and the internet. And, you know, you can't send, after a certain age, you can't send any child into this world without a phone. Like, it's stupidly unsafe for them. Even going to school these days, it's like, it's crazy unsafe. And so it's like, I think... I
didn't have a phone until high school.
Yeah, but, you know, but I'm saying, like, kids now.
It doesn't matter.
I'm saying, like, this is why kids at 3 get freaking
on
phones.
You can put parental controls and stuff on there.
Yeah, but I'm saying like kids now, like they went to a different school environment than we went to.
But now there's the most like stringent parental controls you can do on phones. You could do a lot.
I'm sure.
But basically, what she's saying,
I'm sure you could, but not everybody's gonna go through that kind of trouble. It's like
basically, the details don't matter. What she's saying is, how come we can't leave it up to the free market and let people say, you know what, that's racist. I don't want to watch it, versus removing that person because they made a joke.
Because the media influences people. The media influences people, and well, here's what I'm saying: the media influences people. So whatever message, like you were telling me earlier about which political party controls the media, it's like whatever message the media wants out there, that's what's going to fuel. That's what they're going to do.
So don't you think right now that's the message the media wants out there? Don't you question that?
I don't so much agree that it's a bad message. Like I was saying earlier, like I understand when it sometimes goes too far. I think it's more of a balancing act is what we kind of need to come to on cancel culture, and a lot of things actually it's like a balancing. Like sometimes it's the too far that gets people upset, but then other times it makes legit sense. Like I mean, Disney's doing the same thing. Like you mentioned the Nazis earlier. It's like Disney's doing the same thing on the Disney, like on their streaming service with like, cause they have some old stuff from like World War II that's like Nazi propaganda films they put on there, or like or even just
okay. So
like everyone knows Disney's passing, but they have legit put advisory. This is what they've done. They would legit put advisory on before the movie to say, you know.
But there's movies still there. The equivalent would be if Disney did something Nazi propaganda, we would cancel Disney, and Disney would lose their business.
Yeah, that would be.
That's why they didn't publish. That's why they didn't publish those videos or put the advisory content warning. I think that's what the free market is. That's the advisory content warning.
Right, but that's not cancel culture. Disney didn't get canceled. You know who gets canceled? The people who work for Disney. Like recently, didn't Gina, whatever her name is? I was reading the comments. She got canceled for
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, but
Gina Carano or something like that. She got canceled from Disney for some tweets.
Gina. Oh, maybe that's why. I have not heard about that, but maybe that's why that one show is taking a minute to come out.
Yeah, she just got canceled over some tweets or something she said.
Like I said, those are one of those now that's like a tricky situation because like those are one of those instances where it's like, like I see where it could be too much, but then I think, like I said, the Roseanne or even going even farther, Bill Cosby, and it's like, yeah, you understand when you understand what these people did. And like, eventually they should be rehabilitated back into society. But right now, the hurt's still there. It's almost like a grieving process. Like the hurt's still there, but eventually they'll likely be rehabilitated back in society because, you know, humanity's short attention span. It's the best and worst parts about us. It's literally like our short attention span.
But the Kevin Hart, Roseanne, and Bill Cosby are completely different. Bill Cosby committed crimes. He is where he should be, in prison.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
So you don't have to cancel someone who commits crimes.
Kevin Hart, a comedian.
Right. And so they're just in the post-joke world. They can't make jokes anymore because people are so sensitive.
Like you said, language evolves, and it's like, well, what if when they made those jokes, language was at a point that it was like positive, it was a good thing, it was kind of like mutual.
Kevin Hart's jokes were very old.
Like those jokes are not the same today. Like they probably wouldn't make those jokes today. So why should we dig back in their past 20? Well, that's like penalizing you for something you did when you were 10 years old.
I see where you're coming from because of that, but I think it's look, if you're going to dig back in the past and not just respect that people change, I get what you're saying. But then if you bring it up, because here's the thing, because like Kevin Hart, okay, they dug back in his past, and granted, he had a big gig, so that's probably why, but they dug back in his past. But then it's like, the thing with Roseanne is, she straight up did it like after the show started. It's like, look, it was in your past. That's one thing. But when you bring it back and try to make it funny again, that's, I think, where people really get upset. It's more the more recent stuff. Like, the stuff where you dig up in the past, like, yeah, that's the kind of the too much in, where it's like, we can kind of just leave the past in the past. Just slap an advisory warrant or something, or, you know.
And we don't have to agree, but do you get our point of view?
Yeah, I get it.
Just let the free market handle it. And your point of view is, if it's too bad, you don't want it to influence people. So
Basically.
you say cancel it.
Basically, and I think that's the root of cancel culture. Like, keep certain influences in the past and dead.
Right.
So we can move forward.
With that drama, you must think I'm someone else.
I do have one question. Why is he on a police car? I'm a little, like, that's the one thing. I kind of have one idea, but I really am not totally sure on it.
Why do you think he's on it?
We don't know. The cancel culture of police. You know, like how everyone's like, F the police and stuff. And then, you know, how everyone's like, F the police, but at the same time, we still need them or whatever. It's like the cancel culture police.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what.
I mean, that would be my theory, but I really don't know.
It's art, so
Yeah, I don't know. Probably thinks
it.
it looks cool.
Yeah.
And then he may have some meaning as well. I don't know the meaning.
Just think I'm someone else. Cause y'all don't wanna with me. Cause I don't feel the pressure. No, I will not be censored. I'm not afraid, that's why they with me. My name will be remembered, and I will live forever. I bet y'all hate that y'all are stuck with me. You look like the devil, you sound like some Christians. You just want a medal for asking permission. You just want a pat on the back in addition to being so tolerant. Fine, I admit it, you're nicer, you're better, you're righter, you're brilliant. Most sensitive creatures in all of existence. My freedom of thought should be censored with prison. The world would be better if we weren't so different. Always on that blah, blah.
True.
What you got?
The world would be better if we weren't so different. True. If everyone was the same, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have as many problems. Like, that's obvious. But at the same time, it's our differences that makes the world as beautiful as it is. Like, it's our differences. Like, if everybody was the same, it would be boring. Like, yeah, we wouldn't have literally any problems because we're all because we're all thinking the same thing. But like I said, it wouldn't be the world. It wouldn't be us. It would be bland. It would be a matrix. It would just be a computer program. Ugh. Like, who wants everybody in the world the same?
Yeah, he was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you had to pick to live in a world where everyone was the same or everyone was different, which would you pick?
Different.
Okay, good. So you don't really think people should be the same?
No, God, no.
Okay.
God, no. I was saying,
I was like, you're sounding awful.
I thought that's what you were saying it, but I was like, wait, hold up.
No,
bro,
I was just saying in a computerized general sense, like, yeah, if everybody was the same, the world would basically be a utopia, because if everybody was the same, like, both mentally, like, in every aspect, we'd basically all be the same person. Clones, we wouldn't have any problems. It'd be robots all working toward the same purpose. Like, that's what I was saying. But
it would literally. Yeah,
if everybody was literally the same, we wouldn't have any problems in the world, likely. But
okay, got it.
Literally.
All right. But would you rather live in a world where we're all how we are now?
But I'd rather live in a world where we're all different. Like that.
But what if we all look different, but we all have the same beliefs?
We all look different, but
we all work different jobs. Like, basically the world how it is now, but there's like one political party, like we all have the same beliefs, or would you rather have it like there's different political parties and we all have different beliefs and stuff?
See, that's a tough question, because you don't want a monopoly, because politics has just an easy way of making a monopoly as business does, and you don't want a monopoly because then when everybody's making the same decisions, there's no one to weigh in case, this is why I feel is the biggest problem comes in with some advertising companies, and like how commercials cause like I remember Burger King had this tweet that came out not like back in March for International Women's Day, and they were saying how like women belong in the kitchen, and I'm thinking, oh Lord, if there was someone else other than, like, if there was a woman in that office who the tweet was ran by, I guarantee you, like someone in that office who like the tweet ran by, it would not have gotten, like, it wouldn't have been a thing. And it's like so many different commercials and tweets and stuff like that. They just don't get run by people properly. Like, they get run by so many of the same generic people in the office. No one sees the problem. But it's like you just had that one person who is different than the rest. You'd see the problem because you'd see how someone else different from you may see it. And, like, I think that's...
But didn't you say earlier, like, the majority should have the voice or something like that?
I was saying the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
So if there's one person in the office that's different, then why shouldn't the needs of the many allow that tweet to pass? And why should they acquiesce to the one person that's different?
Because you got to think about the bigger picture and how the world is not comprised of everybody that's the same. You know, when everybody, it's kind of like having a book. It's kind of like having a movie or like any film, like any kind of artsy project go by one editor. It's like, okay, that one person, it's kind of like not editing a book before publishing. You know what you mean. You know whether it's supposed to be a joke or not. That's not how everybody else takes it, which is why you send it to an editor so they can catch all the grammatical errors and mistakes and how this reads and how that reads. It's like, it's kind of like editing in a sense. That's why you would need that person that's different. It's editing. It's giving it a different set of eyes who had a different set of experiences.
Well, if the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, then why did your generation go so hard on anti-bullying? Because most people are not bullied. That's the needs of the few, the need to not be bullied.
The need to protect the look. Here's what I've learned. Secret of life. People change people. Extra credit, what us does for them. What the haves do for the have-nots. I think it's also like hero culture. Everyone wants to feel like the hero. Everyone wants to feel like, I see Army commercials now, and a lot of them have a very strong anti-bullying theme of saying, like, I was that kid who stood up for the nerd, and now look at me, I'm this badass commander in the Army. And it's like, I think it's also a sense of hero culture. Everybody wants to be a good person that deep down. And, you know.
So you think the media believes that, and they're not just selling you what you want to hear?
The media believes what?
They believe in anti-bullying culture, and Disney truly wants to get rid of the, horrible films that they did before that still make money. And you think they really believe?
It's the media. At the end of the day, I do believe that money is going to be the ultimate decider in any of this, and that's definitely because you can see plenty of seriously, schools can have a whole assembly for anti-bullying, and they will have so much freaking merch to give away, and all this time and money the school has to pay. It's like, it's a very clear and obvious market. Like, schools will do anti-bullying to, like, whatever. The media is always going to be fueled by money, but I also think the world in general is just changing. It's just more and more people, every generation becomes a little less racist, more like, you got to think, who fuels the media? The people. The money doesn't fuel it. Our attention spans do. Money is paper. It's a number in a computer. And if people aren't buying into these products and giving something their attention, money is obsolete.
But which came first, I guess?
Are you guys ready to finish it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a people thing, sis. It's
always on that blah blah. Y'all should keep it to yourselves. Miss me with that drama.
Such a good hook.
You must think I'm someone else.
Like I say, he's got a good bridge.
Cause y'all don't wanna
He's got a good bridge.
with me. Cause I don't feel the pressure. No, I will not be censored. I'm not afraid, that's why they
So I take it he's very much counterculture. Here's my thing.
It's almost done. We got 10 seconds left.
Okay.
name will be remembered, and I will live forever. I bet y'all hate that y'all are stuck with me.
Okay, real quick, here's my thing. He's very much counterculture, but here's my question. Don't y'all think that him being counterculture is a creation that's manipulated by the media as well?
No.
In a sense.
Manipulated? No. But I mean...
Because you got to think, all counterculture has so much of the same messages and so many of the same attitudes behind it, just like my culture, just like non-counterculture, like just like, you know, the basic culture.
Wait, what were you going to say then?
I was like, is it manipulated by the media? No, but does it stem from the culture? Yes, because it's counterculture. It would have to stem from the culture.
Yeah, it's like a response more so.
The culture is manipulated by the media. Counterculture is a response
but
to
isn't
the
it
culture.
all? But isn't it all just, in a sense, isn't it all just decisions made by ad men and signing contracts and offices and producing videos saying, okay,
No,
we're
he's
gonna have these
independent.
fashion designs.
He's independent.
Oh, okay.
Him and his girlfriend shoot and record all their own videos. They don't have a record label or anything like that.
They just have YouTube.
Okay. Well, that's something. I mean that's the great thing about the internet. It it provides a sense of counterculture that truly isn't manipulated.
Right.
But at the same time, do we have his whole video or is YouTube saying they can't include some parts? Think about that. Or is YouTube saying because YouTube is the media, they're manipulating in that sense.
Okay.
Even telling people in a sense of a free market that they can't have something. So in a way, you basically are still working for a business. There's no free market. It's like there's no government. It's just a bunch of business admin and corporations making decisions that fuel the economy.
What?
I think you're headed in the right direction, but I think that you just gotta vet your sources.
That must.
Because I mean, for example, YouTube will basically cancel a lot of people, like basically shadow ban a lot of people. Stuff won't show up in the algorithm, so they are blocking certain people's content. But it just so happens to be the easiest content you can possibly get is cancel culture woke content. So I mean.
Right.
Therefore, if you're looking at one side of the agenda, like, is
But like we
YouTube
said,
blocking? Is YouTube doing this? Is the government even real? You gotta look at the whole thing and be like, who are they targeting and why?
all these corporations and the media are out. Majority of them are all out in like California, the biggest blue state I've seen in this country. It's like it's a huge blue state. So yeah, it's very much like if it's not woke, it's not going to be in the media. If it's not woke, basically.
But with YouTube, you can publish whatever you want to a certain extent.
They
will get rid of people, but it's like...
But that's what I'm saying. It's that certain extent. That's the cancel culture. Like, that's the certain extent that's fueled, and the YouTube is the media.
But there's not like this video has been censored.
How do you know that? I mean, you don't know if you don't know them personally, and because they're the only ones who know what YouTube cut out.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
But they're the only ones who knows what YouTube cut out, unless
YouTube doesn't cut stuff out after you upload it.
Oh,
so yeah, it doesn't work like that.
So that is true because they don't always catch some videos.
Like they'll demonetize your video if they don't like something about it. They may give you a strike for a community, the guidelines violation, things like that. And so they'll try and like whip you in line, but you don't upload a song and then they cut out, some words of the song. It wouldn't flow. It doesn't work like that. And there is a free market. Now our market is regulated, but you can't stop me from going out and selling something to somebody on the street. You know what I mean? There will always be some of the market that's completely free, and then some of the free market is heavily regulated, so it's not really like free.
But that's what I'm saying. The regulations are the cancel culture, so you got to think who is in charge of the market. Who's in charge of the market? Because whatever they want, however they want the people to think moving forward is going to be basically what fuels that kind of culture. Like what fuels that kind of culture.
Right, and you're the people who are thinking how they want you to think.
Right. Like Disney, like the Disney example.
No, I understand that I'm thinking in the sense the way they likely want me to think. My question, but that doesn't make it necessarily a bad thing. Like, progressive nature is the way of the future.
But do we need a bunch of people to tell us how to progress, or will it happen naturally?
I don't trust, even I have to admit, looking back on history, I don't trust people naturally. I understand why y'all would think that, and I'm not saying we need to be controlled like sheep or anything, but at the same time, I don't always trust people. I've seen too much of history and what we've done.
So you're not saying it, but you are saying it.
In a manner of speaking, because I really don't trust. I see why I don't trust people. We've been through too much in this country. We've been through too much in these tens of thousands of years. I don't trust it. I don't trust people. But at the same time, I also don't trust every one of the ones who are controlling. So it's like, who can you trust? Other than yourself.
Freedom.
Other than yourself, who can
Principles.
you trust?
I mean, yeah, because at the end of the day, Kyle, you said, you like that we're all individuals and we're all unique and different and everything. But as soon as we get into, heavy sort of censoring people's, like now we won't have bullies, which means you won't have the kids that get bullied and grow out of it and develop from it. You know what I mean? Like when you start taking things out of society and limiting them to live in like an artificial happy world where people never say things to hurt each other's feelings.
But
you don't have freedom.
You don't have freedom.
Yeah.
Like that actually is moving. Like if you are saying progressive is the way of the future, wouldn't progressive being be more freedom and not.
But that doesn't mean
restricting
chaos
freedom.
needs to rule all. That doesn't mean we need to live in a state of constant fear and chaos because we don't know what other people are going to do.
People live in more fear today than they did in the 90s.
Because people like to run around
Because
burning
people
down
like to-
America.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I believe that.
And they
but
like to say police are killing people at crazy, like the media likes to put messages out there that scare people. So nowadays you have people living more scared than back in, the 90s and 80s.
I get that, but I also think a lot of that is just how prevalent we're easily able to come by this information. So you got to think, the 90s, everybody was watching the 8 o'clock news when it came on. Now you can watch live streams.
All day long.
It's all day long.
Yeah, but
it's
that
like
doesn't
part
change
of
the messaging.
that doesn't change.
All right,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
guys.
But it changes how prevalent it gets to people. But yeah, I mean,
Any final thoughts? Do you have any last points you want to make?
Yes, anything you want to tell the people.
Or us? Final thoughts, because we got to wrap this up. It is long.
Yeah, it is. I gotta get to bed.
Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, like I said, I can see he's very much counterculture. I can't say he's my music, but I see where his audience comes from. He's not bad. He has a good beat. But, he's very much cancel culture. But the big question is, when is cancel culture too much and when is it what we need?
He's anti-cancel culture.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, he's very much against cancel culture. All right. Thanks again for kicking on the couch. I'm Kyle, Leslie's little brother. Be sure to look me up on Instagram. And until next time, that's a wrap.
I don't know. Tell me, man, what do you know? What do you know? Me and my boys on the road. You to go. She told me, boy, you to go. Like, I don't know. But I don't know.